We're taking a look at the Portfolio Power Pack for low voltage landscape lighting. This is the second one I'm putting together this week. I'm making this video because from the videos I could find on YouTube, there's a bunch of videos on similar systems, but nobody seems to have this one. It's my first time doing a low voltage lighting project, and it was surprisingly simple. Seems like it's very safe. There's pretty much no risk of electrocution. There's really no warnings about anything, so when I was looking to do this project, I didn't really understand how easy it was, but let me walk you through some of the basics. This is the power pack I just installed. There's two screws on the back that you need to get into your wall. I'm dealing with uneven stone here, so I'm pretty lucky that this one went in so easily, but I'll just show you how to slide it off the wall, as you can see, and then obviously you have to mount it back onto the wall. So the first light I'll be putting in, it's a spotlight as opposed to a floodlight. At Lowe's they have a bunch of different types of lights. One of my concerns was I didn't want these lights to be too bright. I like more of a dramatic effect. Wasn't really looking to do like a whitewash of the house. So if you look at the front of these boxes, there's some different numbers to go by. So it shows the beam angle, the lumens, which is the brightness, the beam distance. So my goal with this spotlight is to light up a tree that's going to be fairly close to it. So these numbers should be fine. These floodlights are going to be for the house itself. Again, I don't want anything too bright. I just want more of a spotlight for dramatic effect. So I probably could have gotten away with all spotlights and not floodlights. I don't know, but this is what I ended up with. So we'll see what they look like. Looking at here is a 100-foot length of 12 gauge wire. They sell 12, 14, and 16 gauge. If you read the instructions, you want to use a heavier gauge if you have more lights or you're running a long length. So I went with the smaller gauge here, which I believe is the 16 gauge. Believe it or not, once you get into the groove, the hardest part of the project was stripping this stupid insulation off the wire. So let me finish this piece and I'll show you how to get it connected. Alright, I have both ends of the wire stripped, and even though the manual doesn't really mention it unless I missed it, you can run two different lengths of wire off of this one box, which is pretty cool. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to unscrew the two red terminals and get plugged in. Apparently with low voltage wire, positive and negative really doesn't matter, so pick your favorite. Alright, there we go. I have one wire under each connector. Now I'm going to go ahead and mount this back onto the wall and roll out this length of cable and show you how to connect each light. Alright, so through the magic of video editing, you don't have to watch me wrestle with the 100-foot tangle of cable I just created. I had to untangle everything and unplug it from the box and reconnect and whatever. Here we are. So now I have to figure out, well, how do I want to run this cable? So just to remind you, all you need to do is plug the cable in and roll the cable out along the ground where you want it to go, and every few feet or whatever is where you're going to add your lights. The manual tells you that the first light coming off this wire should be 10 feet away from the box. I'm not quite sure why, but they do warn you of that. Maybe something to do with the voltage, I'm not sure. So what I'm doing here is replacing some old solar lights, and I basically want to emulate what I had before with the addition of another couple of lights. So already I ran the cable wrong because my first light is probably going to be here, which is not quite 10 feet. What I probably want to do is run it the other way. Run the cable out, light up this tree maybe as the first light, and then continue left. So you always have to do everything 2 and 3 times, so I will do that. I'll run the wire this way. Right of the wire so it's coming the other way. My first light is going to be a spotlight on this green tree. And the wire just continues on here. believe it or not, this was 100 feet of cable. I guess 100 feet ain't what it used to be. There's a lot of slack in the line, and I'll probably leave it that way just in case I want to make adjustments later on. At the end, I probably have an extra 20 feet or so that I'll cut off and hold on to it in case I need it. So I'll be back, show you how easy it is to connect these lights. Like I said before, working with this low voltage lighting is a lot different than what I'm used to. So the instruction manual actually tells you to turn on the box and go around and install your lights, which I thought was strange, but let's do it. Let's install the spotlight now that there's power to the box. I have plenty of extra cable here, so I'm going to leave myself some slack in case I need to reposition. So this is the connector on each of these lights. You unscrew the top, which is this piece, and you're going to lay the wire in here. And when you screw this piece on, these two pins pierce the wire, and that's it. So let me go ahead and do that, and hopefully the light will light up quickly. Alright, so here's what that connector looks like with the wire in it. So those pins, as you really can't see, those pins are on the bottom of this plastic piece, and as I tighten this, it's going to pierce the wire and give us power on the light. Well, as I was tightening the cable, magically the light came on. I had a couple of these connectors where and you're trying to pierce a pretty tough insulation here, and a couple of them really didn't work the first time. So just unscrew it, reposition everything, and try again. And that's really it. So, me being security conscious and water conscious and whatever conscious, to me this is strange. Like, this is all they tell you to do. Just put this under the mulch and move on. I read that somebody suggested if you're concerned about water getting into it, just put some electric tape over it before you bury it. So that's what I'll be doing. So here's the first light. And like I said, I left myself plenty of slack, and now I'm going to do my second light here in this corner. Alright, the next light I'm doing is what they call a path light. And the point of this is to light up your walkway or light up your driveway. I still have some pretty good solar lights on my driveway, and it's a lot harder to run cable, so solar lights will do for there. For this spot here, I will put a couple of these path lights in. It has the same connector as the spotlight, so same concept here. These all lit up, no hassle. So from here, I have to obviously get these in the ground. I have a couple of floodlights that I'm going to put on this wall. I don't know if I'm going to do 2 or 3, probably 2. Then I have to get my old solar lights out of here. They worked well for a couple of years, but they're cheaper plastic and they're starting to get dim, so I'll get rid of those. Then I have to bury the cable, and that's it. And when the project's done, I'll take a video at night and show you the finished result. I have probably about 15-20 feet of remaining cable here, so I can just bury this as is or bundle it up. But I'm going to cut it and put a piece of electric tape at the end of the cable, just to protect the copper wire from being wet. If I ever want to come out and expand this system more, put some lights on the side of my house, I can just re-add the wire, tape it up, and I'll be good to go. What we're looking at here is the finished product as seen at night. I apologize for the shaky and grainy camera work at night. My phone is pretty old and it's just starting to have some trouble with video. But I think this gives you a decent representation of what it looks like. What doesn't really come across well on the left side there, you can see I have some solar lights. I have 3 solar lights on that are uplighting the trees. Then on the right side I have a bunch of other solar lights that are sprinkled throughout the ground. So it's a combination of solar and low voltage lights. So this is me just walking up the driveway, and the first light you'll see is one of those path lights, and then there's three floodlights that are on the house, followed by another path light on the ground, and this light here that you'll see here on the left, this is a spotlight that I think does a pretty good job of pointing out some of the architectural details of the house. And on the right side, there are three more floodlights and the spotlight on that green tree on the right. Thanks for watching.